Hey everyone, welcome in. I'm Captivate, and we are officially 1 week away from OP11 releasing. Some of my local stores have already gotten product, and I know pre-releases are happening this weekend, so I'm sure OP11 is on everyone's mind. I know I have one event left tomorrow. As of the day that you're seeing this, I'll be playing in a Treasure Cup. If you want to see how I ended up doing in that, I will post the results in my Discord, which if you haven't joined that, please do so. The link will be in the description below. I would love to have you there. I love interacting with people in the community, and if you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about, I would love to hear from you all. So definitely join that. So jumping into Blue Purple Luffy here, this is by far and away the most broken deck in OP11. Giant as a card just makes every purple Luffy leader really good, and the way Sanji interacts with the leader ability is really oppressive for a lot of decks. So I'll just start with the leader real fast. It says you may activate this effect at the start of your turn if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on the field, and then if you do, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat type card and add it to your hand, and then place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So what this means is before you untap anything and before you get your Dawn, you refresh your Dawn, then you're going to look at the top 5 cards. So starting your turn, you have to have 8 Dawn. So this doesn't mean going into your 8 Dawn turn. It means that you had 8 Dawn on your previous turn. And before you even draw your card, you'll look at the top 5. So ideally what you want to do is just use a bunch of the turbo ramp cards that the deck runs, and then you're just going to ramp up really fast, because as soon as you hit 8 Dawn, you're essentially going to get a free search every turn of a Straw Hat card. You're going to get to set the top of your deck, and then if you don't like the top, you can just put it on the bottom. It is absurdly broken once you get everything going. So typically, the only decks that beat this deck are decks that go really fast and kill him before he gets to 10 Dawn, because I don't think there's a single deck in the game that can keep up with him once he's at 10 Dawn. So that's the leader ability. Every single turn, you get to search a Straw Hat, you get to arrange the top of your deck, and then if you don't like the top, you can just put it on the bottom. So the most synergistic card with this deck is the Sanji. He's a Straw Hat, which means you get to search it off the top, and then he says reveal the top card of your deck. You may put into play up to 1 revealed character with a cost of 9 or less other than Sanji, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. So what this means is on your 8 Dawn turn going into your 10 Dawn turn, let's just say, for example, you have 8 Dawn on the previous turn. You look at top 5. In your top 5, you see a Sanji and you see a Lin, just in the top 5 at all. You can take the Sanji for leader effect. You can rearrange the top card so that you don't draw the Lin, but she's the next card. So she would be the second card on the top 4 after you take the Sanji out. So you would have 4 left. You put the Lin as the second card. You draw for turn, so you can essentially put a Giant on top, draw the Giant for turn, play Sanji, and then now, oh look, you just played into a Lin. And then if you really needed to, you can... Let's just say you have a Gravity Blade in there. You can now heal into an event that when they swing at you will trigger, and then you get to bottom deck one of their characters, or you can trigger into God Thread, so you get another active Dawn if you need 2 Dawn to get out of an attack. The way that the leader ability works inherently is just really broken, if I'm being honest. So Sanji isn't the only card that's broken in the deck. Katakuri is one of probably the best cards in OP11. He says set up to 2 of your Big Mom Pirates type cards with a cost of 3 or more as active, and then add up to 1 Dawn cards from your Dawn deck and rest it. This card is absurd. You get to, he's a Big Mom Pirate, so you get to restand himself. So every single turn, you can have an 8k swing, just swinging at them, and then at the end of the turn, you can choose himself, restand himself, and now you have a blocker again. It's crazy what he's able to do. The rested Dawn also comes up because let's just say you on 8 Dawn you play this Katakuri, and then on your 10 Dawn turn you go into Sanji and then Lin. So you -1 Dawn for the Lin, so you would be at 9 Dawn total. And then if, for example, you needed to play Giant on the next turn, you would go -2. So that's -3 in total. So you would -1 on the Lin, so you're at 9. And then on your opponent's turn, you would -2 for the Giant. So you would be at 7, which means on your next turn, you wouldn't get to use leader effect because you would be at 7 Dawn, going into 9, which then also means you can't play Sanji or Lin and keeping one up. So Katakuri completely fixes that issue. This is like one minor thing that could go wrong with the deck is, oh, if I Lin and then have to Giant, because healing 1 and then getting out of a 10k swing isn't enough. now I can just ramp 1 Don rested so that this never actually comes up, because I -1 on the Linlin, so I have 9 Don, and then at the end of my turn, I just add the Don back and then go back up to 10 Don. So then if I need to Giant, I only go to 8, so I can still leader effect. So yeah, the bosses in the deck are crazy. This Luffy is kind of a tech card. I feel like I see him, and then I also see the 9-cost Luffy that Purple Luffy runs. I can go ahead and pull that up real fast. Just this one right here that says on play, you may return 1 or more Don cards. And then if you do that, you draw 1, and then this character gains Rush. So it's basically just 2 bigger bodies. I want to say this is primarily used for Blackbeard, getting to bounce a Burgess back to their hand. So I'm assuming that's what he's for. And then going through the early phase of the game, literally all you do is ramp. Like, that's all the deck does. So you want to go second. I believe you want to go second. So then what you'll do is you'll play Zorojoro, and then you can either play Zorojoro or Bon Clay on your 4-Don turn. So you would get to ramp 1, so you go to 5, and then the turn after that, you would go to 7. So you would go from 5 to 7 on your 3rd turn, and then all you have to do is ramp 1 more time, so that you're on your 8 Don. I think the deck is really flexible about going first or second. But yeah, so that is literally the deck. The first couple turns is you just play the ramp pieces. You have 4 of them in this list. There's a couple other ramp events that you can play in that, like Purple Luffy plays. The It's to Die For is another one that you can play. Add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. And then if your opponent has a character with 6,000 power or more in play, add up to 1 Don. So if you're playing a deck that played like, let's just say Green Purple Luffy, for example, if they play a Zorojuro on 4 Don, you can ramp 2 on your 5 or 6 Don turn. Nami is really good because there are some hands where you just draw all your Linlins or you draw your Katakuris. So you can play Nami before you would go into your leader affecting turn on like your 6 or 7 Don turn. And then you get to put 2 cards back on top or bottom. So you can either, if you drew, let's just say you have a bunch of God Threads in your hand and you don't need them, you can throw them to the bottom. Or if you have Linlins and Katakuris, you'd rather not have them in your hand because you want to play them with Sanji. So you can just put them back on top of the deck. And then before you even draw them, you get to leader effects. Yeah, so that's really good. Overall, the deck is insanely broken, if I'm being honest. I've been playing around with it a little bit on the sim, and it feels like the only decks that beat this deck are decks that are built to beat it, or really, really fast decks. Like Bello Betty, this deck is pretty rough into Bello Betty, Zoro. I know Green Yellow Law has a good matchup into it. So those type of really fast decks that can just continuously hit 6s at it are really tough for this deck to beat. But other than that, like if you play Shanks or Nell or any deck that was good in the previous format, this deck just bulldozes over it. It's crazy how absurdly broken this deck is. So I'm going to jump into some games now. They don't have the ranked setup for this deck, so I'm going to be playing randomly on the sim. So definitely have some grace with some of the people we'll be playing against. It probably won't be the most optimal of lines and things like that as we play, but I want to thank you all for watching this. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you all enjoy OP11. I'm going to be trying to go through every leader that we have in OP11 and then giving you all just a quick breakdown on how to play it and give you a little bit of a head start on how to play these OP11 decks. I hope you all have good luck with your pulls, and I hope you all enjoy OP11. Hope you enjoy the gameplay. Thank you for watching, and as always, a like and a subscription means so much to me. Thank you again. All right, against Shanks, I am going to choose to go second. I honestly am not entirely sure what is preferred, so between going first or second, I'm trying to figure that out myself. I'm just going to try second. We'll see how it goes. So we only have one way to ramp with Zorojuro. So I could play him on 4, and then if I ramp, I would get a 5. I'm going to mulligan. So yeah, this is a little bit better. So we have a lot of ramping here. So we can ramp with Bon Clay, ramp with God Thread. I like God Thread a lot against decks like Shanks. We have nothing to do on 2 Don. This deck doesn't play any searchers because as soon as you hit 8, then you don't need to search anymore. You can search every turn. So it's like the first 3 or 4 turns, as long as you don't turbo brick, which I definitely have had happen. But as long as that doesn't happen, you'll be fine. Oh, geez, the building snakes. This looks like a deck that was built to beat Blue Purple Luffy. I've been seeing this a lot on the sim where they just like I played against a Purple Luffy that was playing Ragnarok to get rid of the Katakuri blocker. I don't know if that's normal in OP11. So on our 4 Don turn, I will play the Bon Clay. Before I play him, I'll just swing 6. Actually, they can't trigger anything that would kill him, so I might as well just go 7. And I mean, they can leader effect and give me a 2k, but I'd rather take a 2k. Yep. Okay. All right. they leader effect and then take it anyways. That's fine. So we are going to be 5 going into 7. So then when we play Bond Clay, we'll ramp to 8. So on our next turn, we'll get leader effect. We only need to give 1 card here, and I don't think the pudding is ever going to come up, so I'll just give them the 1 card for that. Yeah, so now we're at 7. This is why I feel like going second like feels better to play, because we can go ahead and just play the God Thread, and then once we do that, we'll add an active Dawn. So we'll be at 8 Dawn, meaning we can leader effect on our next turn because we'll have 8 on the field, and that's going to cost us 5. So I think I could go ahead and swing 7, and then I'll just go 2 7s at him, and then I'll God Thread the Yasop so he's not on the board. Just get 2 cards out of his hand. And we do already have the Sanji, which is really good for us. Yeah, and then I'll just go, because he's a 5 now, so I'll swing 6. And then he'll either take or give me a 1k. Right, and then now we can God Thread, get rid of the Yasop. So yeah, so we're at 8 Dawn now, so we'll get to leader effect next turn. I don't know if he'll choose to swing one of these at the Bond Clay. I imagine he's going to want to save them because the -3 will let him like Rayleigh something, Rayleigh one of the 9k bodies. And I feel like our hand is like pretty set right now. I'm pretty happy with my hand. If he swings 7 at us, I'll just take it. Okay, he really wanted to kill that Bond Clay. Yeah, I assumed he wouldn't swing the Building Snake at it, and then probably Lucky Roo, yeah. Because if he had... okay, so leader affecting, I'm going to get to draw a Sanji. And then now I'm going to put this on top. So now I have a decision where I can either play Katakuri or Linlin off the Sanji. I think I like the idea of playing Linlin to get the Lucky Roo off the board. So we can draw the Katakuri for our turn so that we have another boss in hand to play if we don't end up finding a Sanji. So we'll do that. And then we have Linlin on top. So I'll swing 6 and just see if he wants to get rid of the Lucky Roo. I don't hate the idea of putting the Building Snake in life, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably do that because it is a brick. And the Lucky Roo isn't going to actually KO anything. Like, he'll get to block, which is fine. And then I'm going to go ahead. So I know I have a Katakuri on top. So I think I can just get rid of that. And then I'll bottom the Lucky Roo because that's just one less body he'll be able to get rid of. Because none of his reduction is able to reach 9,000 without the help of... Or none of his KOing power is able to reach 9,000 without the help of reduction. And it's absurd to me that I can just draw 2 cards every single turn. So there are games where, like, if this game goes on for, let's just say, like 3 or 4 more turns, I'll end up with like 10 or 12 cards in hand. I've been playing against Shanks that have been playing the KO Shanks. And because I'm at 3 life, I'll just take this, just see another card. So I would love to find a Sanji because I know the Katakuri's on top. So if I can find a Sanji, I can Sanji into the Katakuri. We don't. I'll just draw a 2k here. And then I actually kind of want to bottom these. So I'm going to play Katakuri this turn. And then just kind of keep digging for some of the other bosses in the deck. And because I'm going to play Katakuri, I actually can restand the Linlin. So I would swing with it regardless. Because she's a 9k body, and if they want to swing into that, that's fine. I have so much counter in my hand. But the Katakuri actually will let me restand her, so they won't even get to swing into her. And yeah, you can see how... it's insane to me how broken this deck is. Because we already have 9 in hand, and then I'm just going to continue to draw 2 cards every turn, and then with Giant I will never need to go negative on cards if I really needed to, because it's like he can't even hit me for 6 now because I'll just free block. I don't know, this deck is crazy. All right, So he's at 10. So he could go like, he can't even swing with leader if he's going to play Shanks, but he could play Shanks. And if he does play Shanks, I probably will giant the Rayleigh and then just take the Shanks swing. It is possible he has like another building snake. Yeah, I liked bottom lifing the building snake there for sure. Just getting that off the board. Okay, yeah, so he plays the pop Shanks. So he can't swing with leader, and then he can swing with Rayleigh. It's essentially free for me to just giant out of this, so I think I'll do that just to keep myself a little healthy, and then I'm just going to get rid of a 1k here. I'm never going to play the Bon Clay. Use our leader. Okay, so we actually do... I think I will take the Luffy here. And then I'm going to just put these on bottom. I don't need any counter, and I want to keep digging for the Luffy. Okay, so I can swing 6 first, and if he decides to block it, that's fine. But what I actually kind of think I want to do is just swing with this first so that he doesn't have the option to block. I'll just get rid of a Bon Clay, and then we'll put the Lucky Root back in his hand. And I can give the Rested Dawn. Let's just go to my leader so I can go like 8, 8, 9, and then leave 1 for Giant. Because 8, at least until he uses... An 8k swing at Shanks makes him use 2 cards with his leader ability, so you always kind of want to swing 1 over whenever you can, a usual number, because typically you want to swing like 7s. Alright, and then we go 9 at lead. And I assume he'll take this one. Maybe give us 2-2-1. Yeah, so he takes that. And then we can pass here. So he could like dawn everything up, and if he does, there's literally no way we die. Or he could play like Dragon, and there's no way we die. Or he could play Shanks, and there's no way he can kill us this time. I can just take this. And then I could even take this, and then I can counter out of the 8k swing. But man, it's crazy how healthy this leader stays, how much sustain he has. And then I'll just giant this. It's free. And then if I really need to, I could heal next turn. I don't have a giant in my hand, but I have so much counter. So we'll just grab, yeah, it really doesn't matter here. We have a 9k, a 9k, and then we have a lot of swings coming into life there. So I honestly don't know the win rate on Shanks into blue purple, but I would have to imagine it's not very good unless they're able to get like, if I couldn't get rid of the building snake and then maybe he can kind of slowly KO what I play, then maybe he'd be all right that way. But yeah, that is blue purple into Shanks. All right, so we're going into green yellow law. Green yellow law is the deck I am planning on playing most of OP11. It's probably my favorite deck to play right now. We're going second, and we have enough ramp to just ramp up to 8, so I'm gonna keep this. On 4 we'll play Bon Clay, and then the turn after we can gear 2. The issue with law is we don't really have, like, maybe I could have mulliganed for God. Okay, I get got there anyways. I'm never punished. Just so that we can get the Cavendish off the board, but with the beige that they get in OP11, you can't just get him off the board without putting him in life. So they're gonna swing 6 at us. I'm just gonna take this. I know that he kind of is just gonna swing 6s at us most of the game, so I'm all right with taking that, knowing that a lot of his swings are going to be 6s that I'll have to counter out of eventually. I definitely want to ramp this turn, and I'm just going to use the Bon Clay, and then I'll just swing 7. I'm sure he'd take a 6, but might as well just use that Dawn, because there's nothing that he can trigger to kill us unless he's playing some weird yellow cards. And he does get the Zeus, so there's a world where he could play the Zeus to get rid of the Bon Clay, but I don't think that's really anything he needs to worry about. So we'll go to 7 on our next turn, and then we can use either the Gear 2 or the God Thread, depending on what he has in play. I'm assuming he'll leader effect this Law, so it would probably be worth God Threading the Law. Okay, yeah, I was going to say unless he put the beige down, but he ends up not doing that. I will just counter out of this one. I don't like giving a 2k because it kind of gives him knowledge that we don't have any 1ks in our hand, but I figure rather than taking that as well. So before I God Thread, I'm gonna get rid of the law with God Thread, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and swing. So we'll God Thread for 5, and then that will give us 1 active, so we'll have 3 Dawn left, and there is a world. We could play Zorojuro. I don't know if we need to, because I don't think he's really ever gonna do anything. So I think I'll just swing 6 here. See if he wants to give me a 2k for it. We also could, we could hold the Bon Clay until he gets a law on board, assuming he'll play a law next turn. We'll get rid of the law, get an active Dawn, and then... So we're at 8 Dawn going into 10, so yeah, we can just swing 8 at him, get this life, hopefully, unless he wants to give us 2 cards. And I'll leave 1 up. I can't imagine he'll want to do anything crazy swing-wise. But if we want to just use the gear 2, then now we can do that. And then we do get to do our leader effect on this upcoming turn. I'll just give him a 1k here. I don't know if he's playing in updated lists, because I haven't seen him play a beige. And maybe he just... Okay, yeah, there's the new beige. All right, so leader effects here. I'm going to grab the counter event. And then he didn't end up putting the beige on board, so we can Lin the Cavendish, which, yeah, he can heal into it. But, you know, we get it off the board for 1 turn, so he isn't able to do anything with it. So yeah, we'll draw the Bon Clay, and then we'll play the Lin off the Sanji. Before we do that, we will swing 6, just kind of conceal what we're going to do a little bit. Because if he takes this... There's a world where we could play like a Rush Luffy, but obviously we don't have one in our hand, but he doesn't know that. I'm going to get rid of, so let's get rid of one of these 2. I think I like holding the Lin, just because he does play a lot of bodies that we would potentially want to Lin if he doesn't get the beige on board. I feel like he went a little bit slow this game. His start wasn't super crazy. Yeah, but the 2 laws are definitely going to do a little bit of damage to us. Assuming he... Okay, yeah, and then he'll probably put the beige down now. Yeah. So what we can do is swing before we do anything with the Lin. So he'll go 8. I'm just going to give the event here, because it's nice and easy 1 card, and then I'll take this 9. All right. Yeah. I could heal into the Nami. I don't hate that idea. I kind of want to bottom these if I'm being honest. I'm going to take the event. Yeah, I'm going to just bottom these. I don't really want to heal into the Nami. So let's see if there's any way I can get the beige off the board. I can't imagine that's going to happen. Yeah, so we can either play Lin or the Katakuri. I think the Sanji is a little bit too risky to just try and blind it. So I'm going to go for the Lin here, and if he doesn't end up blocking, I can put the beige in the life. Okay, so he blocks with the law. There's a world where I could play the Katakuri and just have another blocker. I think I will do the Lin, just to get one of the blockers off board, and then I'm going to get rid of the event, and then we'll bottom the beige. Alright, we can pass there with 1 Dawn up. So if they want to go like 9-9, I'll just give them like 1k, 2k, knowing that they really can't do too much. I'm totally fine to take this, and then I could even take this one too. And we do get to see a fresh 5 on our next turn because we bottomed the top last turn. So hopefully we'll see like a giant and then something good to Sanji into. I'm guessing the way that he swung, he has another law in hand. Yeah. So what does he put in life? Puts up blocker law. And then, I mean, maybe he plays the beige, but I don't see why he would ever play over the Bonnie. Oh, he could just law the Bonnie and play. All right, never mind. And then maybe he plays beige over that. I don't think he really needs to play beige. I'm not gonna like get rid of anything. Yeah, and then I'll just gear to this. All right, so I am going to grab. Ooh, we don't have an event. So let's see. We can grab. Do I want to play a Katakuri or a Sanji into a Nami? I could go Sanji into Nami. I don't think that's going to be enough defense for us to stay alive. So I'm almost wondering if I need to just go for it this turn. Because they have 1 blocker, 2 life, and if I get the Luffy, we'll have 5 swings. So, that's 8. So I could go like 8, 8, and then 3 9s. So he would have to get out of 2 8s. I feel like that's pretty easy for him to get out of. Yeah, just get out of 2 8 swings. I could grab the Nami, play Katakuri. That doesn't really help me too much. I really feel like I needed to see a giant. Not seeing giant definitely hurts. Because if I had a giant in this stack, it would be pretty... don't want to say it would be easy for me to stay alive, but to like have a giant in hand and then play... Like I could grab the giant, Sanji into Nami, cycle these bricks out, and then hopefully stay alive another turn. I could grab the Nami, bottom these, and then hope to draw into a giant because we haven't seen one yet. So there definitely is a possibility. I kind of think that that's going to be the best line. Let's take Nami and bottom these. This could be wrong, but we'll see. All right, so let's just start with some 9s and see what he ends up doing. All right, let's go again. Just a world. I don't think there's any chance that he doesn't have the counter in hand. But if he takes this, I mean, maybe I just go for it. Yeah, I figured he had a bunch of counter. All right, so Nami. Okay, yeah, so I think that play was definitely right. We will get rid of 1, 2. And then now what we can do is I'll leave 2 up for giant, and then we'll go 9 at lead. And then he's probably going to have to take this one. And then I think we can kill him next turn. Okay, yeah, so I definitely think he should have gone 10 just because this number is so beneficial to giant out of. I'm never going to play the Sanji. It's like I get the most value out of giant with that swing, and then I mean he can do it again. So the Zeus doesn't work. I mean he could play Law and then Zeus, but if he does that he would only have like 1 Don, so I'm not scared of him getting rid of the Nami. He could Hody actually. Hody would have been pretty bad for us if he had played a Hody. But yeah, I'm always gonna giant this one. Again, it's just too much value. Yep. And then, yeah, I don't think there's any way we die here. What are you doing with Tendon? I'm confused. Watch him play like Doflamingo or something. So I have 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 right now. He couldn't get rid of this for free. I'll just take this. Okay, I got you. He plays Kit. That makes sense. And then he'll go 1-6 at us. So we can go, assuming he plays a blocker, I think we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll just give the 1k here. All right, so we have 8. So we could go 10, 10, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's just do some 10s and see how he reacts to them. I don't think he's going to have the counter to get out of this. Yes, definitely not. All right. And we do another 10, and then he can't get out of this, I would assume. So now we could go 9, 10, 11, 12. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that would be 2, 2, 1. So we'll just do that, and then we could go 9 at lead. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, and then we go 9 at lead. All right, there we go. Yeah, so we ended up getting that. I think he went a little bit too slow. Like, he didn't have a crazy start, because there are some turns where if he goes like first or second, he can get 2 5-drops on board by like, if he, yeah, because he went first, so he could have gotten 2 5-drops on board on his 5-don turn. He could play like Cavendish, restand 2, Beige 1 life, and then leader effect into another 5-cost. So I think he went a little bit slower, and then because of that, we were able to kind of just sustain through it. And we did end up having a ton of counter in hand because the Nami drew us those giants. But I think if I ended up just playing any of the other lines I had, I probably die there. And he definitely didn't swing optimally. Like, I think he probably should have realized that I could kill the kid with what I had on board. And then because of that, like, he's just playing the game to try to not lose rather than to try to win. So I think he definitely should have just gone for it this turn, and I don't think he like truly recognized that I had game on board. But also he may have just like known that I couldn't have got in there, but he didn't know I had 2 giants. So and also just swings like 10, 10, 12, whatever. Just use all your Dawn and then swing. I think that would have been better for him and more likely for him to win rather than going for the kid line. But yeah, that is this deck into green, yellow, law. I think we definitely got a little bit lucky there, but it was a fun matchup. So yeah. All right, Nami. So another OP11 deck. I think Nami looks really cool. We have only 1 way to ramp, so I'm just gonna mulligan this and we get nothing. All right, yes, this is gonna be rough. Let's hope we get a Nami. Yeah, so we can go 9 at lead. Woo. But yeah, I think Nami's cool. Her leader effect is super generic, so I think it's cool that she has a pretty open deck list. I'm probably gonna make a video on Nami next. I think she's a really cool leader. I know that when the leaks came out for the OP11 cards, like, gosh, 3 or 4 months ago at this point, I and some of my friends thought that she was going to be the most broken leader of OP11, not really thinking much about Blue Purple Luffy, but yeah, so she gets to draw off that. Okay, so now we do have 2 ramp cards. So we can play Bon Clay, go to 6, and then on our next turn we'll be at 8. So yeah, we missed the 3-don ramp. So maybe that's why first or going second is better. Maybe it's a little bit more forgiving with when you ramp, or no, yeah, I don't know. I feel like second's better. I don't know why Blue Purple Luffy has a better win rate going first into a lot of decks. I'm not sure what I'm missing there. So I can go ahead and play Bon Clay. I'm guessing that he's probably going to get killed. I'll go 7 so that if she wants to leader effect and trash a card, she still has to give 1 more. And this is one of those hands where I would just love to see a Nami. I feel like I see hands like this that I'm like, dang, this deck's kind of inconsistent though. Yeah, so I'll leave 1 up. I don't, like, maybe they do some weird like banish swing. So I will not get, I can't leader effect next turn, but the following turn I'll be able to leader effect for sure. So I don't need to ramp on my next turn. So Nami is like the perfect play, or even if they end up playing something that I want to bottom deck with Gravity Blade, I think getting rid of like whatever they play, and then also the Shirahoshi. So like they'll probably put a Kikunojo in life here. So maybe I can just like try and hit it out. And then If they play like Kikunojo, heal one, hit them, they play it, and then I just Gravity Blade both. That would be a pretty good tempo play. But yeah, I have to assume it's either the Kiku or that like 4-cost guy that has the same trigger that just gets played for free. I have no 2Ks. I could event out of this. I'm just going to take it. I'm looking for Nami, kind of. Okay, yeah, bounce spawn clay, that's fine. Alright, so I'll swing 7. So next turn we get to leader effect. Worst case, we can Linlin, so I don't like need to block this swing. I could just take it if they decide to like just jam me down to 0. I assume they're gonna take this, but maybe they want to play around Gravity Blade and not. But if they do take this and trigger it, then this is like perfect Gravity Blade. All right, so I think I'll just go like double Bon Clay. I like the idea of doing that. I don't think just bottoming a Shirahoshi is ever worth doing. I'm surprised they didn't take that unless they were playing around Gravity Blade, because that Gravity Blade would have been pretty good. It's also possible they like didn't heal. Okay, yeah, so I was thinking they might do that. And then we can just play Linlin. All right, I'll take a giant, and then I'm gonna draw a giant. I think I want to leave the Katakuri here. Because I do want to heal this turn, but on my next turn I might want to play Katakuri. So we'll see. And we can go ahead and just go, we'll go 6 at lead. Yeah, that's fine. And then if they trigger a Kikunojo, I can just go like 6/6. Ah, Red Rock. Okay, that's what they put in life. I'm surprised they wanted to use the trigger on Red Rock. I like was just autopiloting, thinking they put a Kiku there. All right, so I'll get rid of one of the Gravity Blades. Definitely don't need 2. And we'll just put her in life. She's a blocker anyways, so just throw her in there. Just so that if they like turn a body sideways, they can't use the Shirahoshi to block. All right, nice. Probably just jam me down again. But I mean, even if they do that, I'm really not scared of dying. Okay, yeah, so I still have no 2Ks for whatever reason, and I don't want to giant, because if I giant, I'll be less than 8, and I won't get my leader effect, so just use the gear 2. Okay. All right, so yeah, this is a perfect turn for me to play the Katakuri. So I'm going to draw Sanji, go on top, and then I'm going to just draw an Usohachi, and then will Sanji into Katakuri. And then I'll just leave these 2 on top, so I could go like Sanji into Luffy on my next turn. We'll start with a 6. Man, we have so much counter in hand. It's absurd how much counter you can get in hand. They haven't really played anything. Yep, all right. So, end our turn. Yeah, so now that I'm at 10 and I have 3 giants, if they want to go like 10 at lead for whatever reason, I would just giant, because it's going to be like basically free, because I'll get the Dawn back. I don't need the giant. Yeah, so if they swing like 9 here or 7, low key, nah, I'm going to leave them on top because I know the Katakuri's there. I'm surprised they didn't go 9, but if they had gone 9, or not Katakuri, the Luffy, yeah, so I will take the Sanji, we'll go on top, we'll draw the event, Sanji into Luffy, all right, and then we'll just go 6 lead. Yeah, I don't feel like, I don't know if this is a weird Nami list or something, but I don't feel like he's really done anything besides like try to clear my board. And then I'll just go 8. Yeah, let's get rid of this, and then we'll just bounce the Shirahoshi. And then we'll go 9. Yeah, this card's pretty good. I feel like I like him more than the other purple Luffy, like the 9-cost 10k Luffy that lets you draw one. I know you don't get the draw, but I feel like bouncing the 4-cost to hand is more important most of the time.
Yeah, I'll just, do I want to take this? I can giant and then 1k. Yeah, I might as well. I mean, I think I'll go for game next turn, but why not? See 2 more cards. Yeah, and I was gonna say there's really nothing that they can do. So they finally got to their top end, but I think just ramping, I don't know if they didn't see it or if they just felt like they couldn't play it. Because they used the red rock. I think they triggered 1 and then used 2, if I remember right. But yeah, I don't really know like the spread of this matchup. I know Nami has a lot of varying deck lists. I saw Eggman's list yesterday and that one looked interesting. I'm definitely going to try that one out. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. This is Blue Purple Luffy. I feel like he crushes like everything, if I'm being honest. Besides the super aggro decks, it's literally just kill this deck before they hit 10 Dawn or lose the game. So I'm definitely hoping that maybe a deck comes out of the woodwork and ends up being good into it, or people find tech cards that are good into it, or I hope that something gets banned so that the leader isn't as oppressive, because I don't think OP11 is going to be very fun with how good this deck is. But thank you all for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'll see you all in the next one.